So project storage. Maybe you're one of those amazingly efficient people that works on one project at a time before they move on to the next one. And if you are, my hat goes off to you. That is so awesome. And then you're actually sure you'll finish a project. I am not one of those people. No matter how you approach it, it's really good to have a system to store your projects. Hey guys, it's Laura from Hartford Stitch. Thank you so much for joining me today. All this month we've been talking about sewing room, so I've been coming to you from my own home sewing room and not the Hartford Stitch studio. The very first week we talked about all the essentials of setting up your own sewing space or sewing room. And the second week we talked about this tool storage. Today we're going to talk about project storage. And then next week I'm going to give you a little tour of my home sewing room, which just underwent a little beautification over the holidays. So make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss that tour. So I'm going to give you the top 3 ways that I like to store my projects. At any given time, I usually have 3, 4, maybe even 5 projects going on. Some of them I like to consider long-term projects and that I'm going to be working on them for years before they ever get finished. And you'll notice that there are 2 common themes among all of the options. One is that it's see-through. I can see through the container to know exactly what is on the inside. And for me, this is really important. I don't want to be digging through lots of boxes and bags and wondering what's inside of it. I want to be able just to look, grab what I need, and then get sewing. Number 2 is that they all seal in some way. You turn the thing upside down and nothing will fall out. I find this to be really important because you don't want to lose a little something here or a little something there, and by the time you go to sew it again, you don't have everything you need. So see-through and sealable. All right, so now you're probably wondering, what do you put in a project kit? And that one's pretty easy. So to start with, you put in your project wherever you ended. So this is a fanny pack that might be one of those multi-year projects. I'm so close to finishing it, yet somehow managed to stop right before it was done a couple of years ago. But so I have where I am now. I also have all the notions and accessories that go with it. So for this one, it includes some strapping, includes the buckle pieces, and then the one that people forget about frequently is the thread. This is really important because you may put away your project and then come back in a little bit later and think, I have no idea what color thread I used. Or you may have run out of it when doing another project. So if you are able to dedicate a spool of thread and put it on in here, you'll know exactly what you need when you go to start it back up again. So then if there's a pattern, you want to include that too. Now, I didn't include the pattern in this project box at this point where I cut this one out and I already made a couple. So I knew what the steps were without the pattern, though of course now we are a year and a half later. I probably even have to go look up that pattern, and if it were right here, right now, I could jump right into it. All right, so let's talk about what you're going to use. The easiest one is the Ziploc bag. So I also buy these online in a light, slightly larger size, like a 9" by 12", but these are great. 1, they're really easy to find. 2, you can write right on them, so you can write what your project is. I make about 8 pairs of Christmas pajamas every year for my kids and my cousin's kids. So I put them each in their own individual bag with the kid's name and the size on it. So when I'm ready to sew, I can grab the bag, know that I have all the correct pieces, and keep on going. Next one that's easy to find is the plastic shoebox. So this is what I had the fanny pack in. You can get these at the hardware store. They're usually about $1. Now, of course, a regular shoebox can work as well, but it doesn't have my 2 necessary things. 1, a regular shoebox is not see-through, and 2, it doesn't have the locking lid, right? If you turn a shoebox upside down, all of the stuff is gonna fall out, whereas if I turn this upside down, it's nice and secure. So I really love these plastic shoebox, and I actually use plastic bins for all sorts of storage. Now, if you're sewing something really big, like let's say you're working on a quilt, you can absolutely get one of those bigger boxes, the bigger, 20-gallon bins to put it in and put all your little stuff. Or if you have a separate space to store the quilt and then just use a little bag to put like the thread or whatever labels you have in it, that works too. All right, so we did the plastic bag, we did the shoebox. The next step is this one. So this is actually what you get, or what you can get brand new bed sheets in. So it's like a zipper case, and let me take out the project that's in there. Right now it's holding my Quilt Club project, but so that's what this one is. Now this one is particularly awesome because it has this metal frame on both sides, so it gives it a little bit more structure. I hadn't seen too many like this, but it does have a zipper, and of course it's not really meant for long-term storage solutions like this, so I've had to kind of do a little bit of mending. It has a safety pin on the end to keep it shut, but I love these. It keeps everything really compact. And they're also great for hand sewing projects or knitting projects, projects that you're going to take on the go. Put everything in there and it fits inside a tote bag perfectly. So I show you this one last because you may not have bought new bed sheets recently, or maybe they did not come in a plastic liner like this. If they did though, this is has so many purposes. In a couple of weeks, we're going to talk about something else that you can use this for in sewing. So if you have any of these around, make sure you hang on to them. So those are my top 3 ways to store your projects. And like I said, there are so many different ways you can do it, and so you just need to find what works best for you. So I had a sewing teacher once that used the plastic bin method. And what she did is, I think she got 5 pink bins that she put each project in. And until there was an empty bin, because she finished a project, she couldn't start something new. I probably should do the same thing. I mean, honestly, this is going to take me like an hour to finish, and I've just been sitting on it for 1.5 years. But so if you need a way to kind of limit the number of projects that you start, use a bin system or a bag system so that you're really controlling and organizing the number of projects that you start. And project organization, of course, is just like one part of an organized sewing room. If you're looking for more organization, check out this video here. Last week we talked all about tool organization, and I have lots of ideas for that. Thanks so much for joining me. If you liked what you saw, please give a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button below, because next week we are going to be talking about sewing rooms once again, and I'm going to be giving you a little tour of my beautified sewing space. Let me just tell you, it went from kind of a dark hovel to bright and cheery and clean. I haven't lost a single thing in my floorboards since we finished it. I can't wait to show it to you. So until next time, happy stitching.